Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever and wherever you are. This is Coach Lee, and we're working on speech anxiety and all its gross forms. And right now we're talking with Noah. Say howdy, Noah.
How's it going?
And Noah is from Palm Beach, and he's 17. And this is the first time that I've ever talked to him. And he knows very little to zero about me and our program and so forth. So what I'm going to do in this session is really give him an introduction to what we do. I'm going to talk about briefly the incurability doctrine, acceptance and life's realities, something about our proofs, a bit about my background, a little bit about WSSA, what we generally ask people to do. And then after I do that, that's all introduction really. Then I'm going to ask Noah some questions about his speech, and then we're going to talk about Noah's speech specifically and how it might fit into the scheme of things that we do. So having said all that, let's start. As Noah, some of this you may already know, but I don't know what you know. There has been for a long time a doctrine of incurability, which says that stuttering is incurable and must be accepted. And they've even gone so far recently as to preach stutter proudly and so forth. Now, the bottom line is that stuttering therapies have been given probably 95 to 98% or 9% by people who never stuttered. And they don't understand the problem, they never have, and it's very difficult to understand it. Mm-hmm. The difference between them and us is that we did stutter, or still do stutter somewhat, I don't, but and we've gotten over it, and we developed ways of getting around it, and we've got hundreds of case histories. And I've been coaching 7 days a week, frankly, for free for the last 10 years. And I've helped hundreds of people beat stuttering, and they posted their stories and videos like this that showed them stuttering in the early going. And your camera's focused more on the ceiling than on you. Can you straighten it out a bit?
Yeah, it's
Hi,
just
Mr.
like
Lovett.
Is that Dean's friend? You can
Yes.
call me Coach or Lee. But
Hi,
you
Dean.
can call me Mr.
Hi. Hi, I'm Megan. I taught Lucas and Bella and Faith when they were in elementary school.
They're all very cherished grandchildren of mine. Faith, in fact, Faith is coming to visit us very soon, like next week. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I'll tell her you said hello.
Yes, please do. Please do. Let me help Noah get his camera.
Okay, and you're welcome to sit in, because there's nothing that I'm going to say that's personal or would otherwise bother Noah to hear you me.
No, it's great. I can stay for a couple minutes and
Well,
then I have an appointment. So I'll sit and listen a little bit. I've
got to hang up at noon because I've got a whole bunch of other calls coming in. So basically, the incurability doctrine basically says that stuttering can't be cured, and it must be accepted. And that simply is not true. And the medical community doesn't know it's not true because they never stuttered and beat it, so they don't think there's any way to do it. I have personally helped hundreds of people like you stop stuttering permanently. Now, it's not magic, it's not a pill, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it can be done. I'm not a genius. I'm just a guy who figures some things out, and I've learned more from coaching hundreds of people than I did helping myself beat it. So I've seen it I've coached people from ages 4 to age 88. Wow. I've coached both genders, every religion, people from practically every country, every continent, and most of the countries. I've coached people, and I've coached doctors, lawyers, psychologists, teachers of all stripes, and laborers, and I mean every kind of person you can imagine that we've coached, and it's been we've succeeded. Now, coaches don't heal or cure anybody, Everybody heals themselves. And the word cure is a bit of a problem. I'm having trouble finding my notes right now. I did notes of things I wanted to cover with you this morning, and now I can't find them. Oh, Jesus. Hold on just a minute. I need my notes. Here they are. Yeah. Okay. So the incurability doctrine is terribly misleading. And look, if I had never stopped my stuttering, I could have still found ways to have a good life. Is it possible to stutter and have a good life? Of course it is. But the reality is that jobs are harder to get for stutterers, and they're harder to keep. And partners are harder to get, and friends are harder to get and keep. And it's very limited what you can do to express yourself. And the problem is, fluent people don't owe us anything. They have their own problems, and some of their problems are much greater than stuttering. And they don't have time to wait for you and me to take, a good chunk of their day to communicate. So we view stuttering as an option for over 90% of the people who stutter. And we believe that you should take the option not to stutter. Now, our goal, we don't use the word cure because it's difficult to define. What we say is, if you use our methods, you can learn to stop appearing speech disabled.
Got it.
That doesn't mean that you won't go. I left my wallet in the car the other day, and I had a terrible time, but I was able to find it, and I got to work, and everything worked out okay. But sometimes I repeat a word once in a while. That is normal fluent speech, and we don't have any objection to that, and we laugh at it. But we do not appear speech disabled. When someone asks me my name, I don't go. I don't do anything or do too many repeats. I had a guy, 88, an ex-orthopedic surgeon. He repeated words like 30 times before he said them. He doesn't do it anymore. The point is, you can stop it if you want to do it, but stuttering is nothing more than a habit.
Okay.
It's a mental habit. And to break the habit, you've got to do certain things, and then you've got to replace it with a habit of fluency. And when you do that, your life is going to change in a hurry. So in any event, that's a little bit about the background of acceptability and incurability and so forth. We have several hundred cases already where written cases, and many of them are backed up by videos. When I started helping people, I didn't know that I was going to write 8 books. I wrote one 200-page book, and it kept growing. I now have a 700-page book. I didn't know that I was going to coach people and record it. I coached many people long before I ever recorded anybody. I've done over 2,000 recordings. I'm not doing this to prove anything. I just wanted to help people. But as we got going, we realized that what we were doing here can help 80 million people if we can find a way to explain it to them all for no cost or as close to it as we can. Okay, so my background briefly is this. I didn't start stuttering until I was a teenager, and I stuttered in my teens and in my 20s. And when I was 25 years old, I was married, I had 2 children, and I was broke. And I graduated from law school, and I was assigned, the first case I was assigned to handle was a criminal case. And it was a guy who had been caught robbing a store with witnesses, and he had a gun and the stolen merchandise. He had no case at all. The only thing worse for him was I was his lawyer. I couldn't say my name, I couldn't say his name, I couldn't say anything. There were a couple hundred people present in that courtroom. They didn't come to hear me, they were just there for other reasons. And that was the most humiliating experience of my life. And I realized right then that if I didn't find a way to stop stuttering, my legal career, which I had worked so long and hard in night school for 4 years to qualify to do, was going to go down the tubes, and I didn't know what else I was going to do, and I was, I will say, somewhat suicidal, and I went to a psychiatrist at that time. I had enough money for 6 sessions, and I went in there, and I told him, I said, I stutter, and I need some help. I need to find a way not to stutter. And he said, I don't know a way to stop stuttering. But he said, if you learn self-hypnosis, he said, you can change the way you think about a lot of things, including stuttering. He said, if I were you, that's what I would do. So he recommended a short book by a guy named Powell, Practical Guide to Self-Hypnosis. I read that book, it's 100 and some pages. And I began giving myself 3 treatments a day before bed, when I got up, and one in the middle of the day. And I followed his instructions, hypnotizing myself at some level. Self-hypnosis, it's not magic, and it doesn't work overnight, but it immediately started helping. As I did that, I stumbled on things that I could do to avoid stuttering. One of them was some of these things are obvious. Use a synonym, similar word or phrase. You do that already, I'm sure, and it works, but it doesn't always save you in time. You can drop the first letter of a word. I can rock the first letter of ost, urge, and the ends, and eat right on walking, and you can still understand a, even though I am a bit funny. Isn't that rude?
Yeah.
So I would never ask you to do that, but I'm just showing you dropping the first letter can be very effective. We tell stories about the word. We change or rephrase the thought. We have a crutch that says insert a sound like or and you can connect it to a blocked word like Noah. Say that. Noah.
Noah.
No, you can't break between and Noah. Noah.
Noah. Like that.
Yeah. Well, Lee.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Well, Lee.
Well, Lee.
So, let me see. So, your mother's name is Megan?
Mhm.
Is that right?
Yes.
It is, yes, sir.
So, Megan.
So, Megan.
And don't break your sound. It's like singing.
Okay.
You hold the sound just like singing. The only thing is you're not using a melody. Okay, so in any event, I started doing that, and I slowly developed methods. By age 30, I no longer stuttered anywhere. I knew how to avoid stuttering. I still had a lot of fear of speaking, especially to groups. My business required me to talk to groups, courts, judges, and things. So I kept working on it. It took me 10 years to overcome fear. These days, most of the people I work with, they don't take 3 or 4 years to stop stuttering as I did. They stop stuttering within 3 or 4 months. And they get over fear like 6 months, a year, whatever. I mean, it depends upon, it's like learning to swim. The more you swim, the better you swim. Same thing goes with getting over fear. The more you talk under pressure when you're not stuttering, the sooner you get over fear. So in any event, that's what I did. And so then I practiced law. I had 2 other kids, and I have 13 grandchildren, and I've co-founded many, many, many businesses, 50, 100, I don't know. And I retired a long time ago, and I live in Bermuda. And as a matter of fact, it was Dean who suggested, he said, why don't you write your stuttering story? And it hadn't really occurred to me, and I didn't know how to write a book and put it on Amazon. He told me. So I wrote a 250-page book in 2015, and I put it on Amazon, and I put my email in it. And I said, if I can help you, I'll do it. And I'm retired anyway. I'm just a loafer. So people started contacting me by email, and I started coaching them like I'm doing you now. And I've been doing that now for 10 years. And several years ago, several of my ex-stuttering students, guys like you who'd stopped stuttering, and I created a charity called the World Stop Stuttering Association, which I fund. And I put a couple $1 million in it. I'm telling you this just so you know where I come from. And I donate all my royalties to this project.
Right.
But I'm getting old, you can see that, and I'm not going to be here forever. So I'm hoping that this organization can get on its financial feet and survive when I'm not here to fund it anymore. You know,
Right.
So that's another subject. But the organization is World Stop Stuttering Association. It has a great program, and you would be, in my opinion, if you were my grandson, I would be saying, this isn't an option. You'd be insane not to do this.
Right.
You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You have the option of stopping stuttering and living seamlessly in the fluent world. Not only that, you can make yourself, when you make yourself the best speaker that you can be, you will be probably the best speaker you personally know.
Right.
And you say, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be nice? I'm telling you, we got legions of people who can tell you they've done that. We have meetings on Saturdays. We call them SAM meetings, speech anxiety masters. And it's kind of a hangout. And dozens of people come to it. And usually there's somebody like you or me who tells their stuttering story and what they've done. And then there are questions and answers, and everybody's friendly. And, you know, and so that goes on Saturdays. And then we have things like practice sessions, wherein you can sign up and I think virtually daily, you can sign up and go with a group and meet with it, like you're meeting right now with me, with, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, people who are doing the same thing you're doing. And they're working together, helping each other solve this problem. Now, okay, so that's let's see, let me see. That's a bit of background on WSSA, myself,
Okay.
and I would say what I usually won't, I usually don't coach anybody. You're a friend of my son's, so I'm talking to you. But I usually don't coach anybody until they've read. And I ask them to read 2 books now. One is this one, which is Stop Stuttering Short Course. It's 86 pages. You can read it in a few hours. But when you read this book, you'll get the basic story. You'll understand. It's kind of like Cliff Notes or a summary of the program. And it's very helpful. Then I asked them to read this. And you say, well, who's going to read a book that big? I have multiple people that have read this book over 10 times.
No way.
I have one guy in Kentucky who told me, he said, I will never stop reading your book as long as I live.
That's amazing.
And so, I mean, they love this book. And look, I donate my royalties to charity. It's not about royalties for me.
Right.
So it's about, can I help somebody? So but reading these 2 books is, you start there, but you got to join World Stop Stuttering Association. Costs $99, which is 27 cents a day, you know, per year. That's nonsense. Most programs cost thousands of dollars and they don't work.
Right.
We know every program out there. I'm not against them. Any program. I tell them, you want to steal our methods? Steal them. Go ahead. My goal is to get 80 million people stopping stuttering. That's my goal. And you don't have to do it through our organization. It just so happens that most of the stuttering world is still saying, Lovett's a liar, he's a charlatan, he's a scammer. What am I scamming? I give away my time, I give away my money. How am I scamming? How is that scam? They don't define that. In any event, we go on, and that's the background, that's who we are, that's what we do. And so I'm going to say, number 1, read these 2 books. Number 2, start coming to SAM meetings. Number 3, join some practice sessions. Number 4, watch my masterclass videos. There are 20 of them on WSSA. They're about an hour each. And then watch some coaching videos. Videos like this, I got them on all different aspects of stuttering. You can find them on WSSA. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do if you want to beat it. Because I can't beat it for you. I cannot do that.
Okay.
You can beat it. I can tell you how to beat it. But when the whistle blows, the ball is yours.
Okay.
When you hang up this Skype, the whistle begins. The game begins. Your game versus this nonsense. There is nothing to stuttering. Speaking is as easy as breathing. It's as simple as breathing. And you're going to teach your brain to accept that fact.
Got it.
So we want you to hear fluency. And so to hear fluency, we ask you to do several things. We ask you to read aloud an hour a day or more if you can. I have some people read aloud 3-4 hours a day. Why do we ask them to read aloud? Because when they read aloud, they hear their own voices being fluent. Can you read aloud alone fluently? I think you can.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you're training your brain to hear yourself be fluent.
Right.
Now, when you read aloud, you also want to read aloud with feeling, which means positive emotion, not negative. Negative emotions get us all in trouble for the rest of our lives. We don't do negative emotions. We clean them up and make them positive. But when we speak, we are in the business of being positively passionate about what we say. Can you say it like you mean it? No. We ask you to be over the top about your speech. The more you become, you can make light years of improvement in your speech right now, even before you read the books or anything else, simply by being an actor. Pretend you're on the stage,
right,
and be emotive as you can be. Use your hands a little bit and let your head move around. You're not a mannequin or a statue. Move around a bit when you talk and be enthusiastic and put a smile on that mug of yours. It takes 12 muscles to smile. Use them all. It takes brain power to smile. When you're smiling, it cuts down your brain's attention to stuttering. Smiling also sends a positive endorphin type message to every one of the 30 trillion cells in your bodies. Smiling is one of our crutches. It's one of the ways we beat stuttering. Simply smiling. I make you this challenge. If you start smiling right now, every time you open that yap of yours and start talking, if you start smiling, you're going to find speech is so much easier already.
right.
I don't understand why it's so much easier to talk when I smile. And if you can laugh a little bit at yourself because you're funny and I'm funny, your mother's funny, everybody's funny, and life is funny if you see it that way. And
Yeah.
you start now. You're looking for the laughter. You're looking to spread joy any way you can do it. And when you spread it, you get it back. It's coming out of you and it's improving your life. So, okay, that's the general background. Now we're going to talk about you and your speech, okay? All right. First question. Defining speech disabled as humiliating yourself. You stuttered so badly. Somebody said, "What's your name?" And you went, you went on and on. That was humiliating. You've done that, haven't you?
Yeah, all the time.
And most stutterers have done this. It drives, it's terrible.
It's the most embarrassing thing ever.
And you're talking to some girl that you want to take out, and there she's thinking, "What is wrong with this guy?" You know. So that's humiliation, and that's what we call a bad incident. Now, many people I coach have bad incidents in every conversation they make.
Right.
And some of them, it's only when they talk to authority figures or in class or whatever. But so my question to you is to get a feeling for your speech problem.
Yeah.
What percentage of your conversations do you humiliate yourself?
I would say it depends on who I'm with. When I'm around my friends who I really like trust with everything, and I like trust that they won't judge me, then I stutter less because I'm more relaxed, I guess. But like when it's not with my friends, I'd say I have a bad incident like 40% of the time that
What do you think are you having a bad incident right now with me?
No.
Well, I'm going to loosen up your definition and say you are.
Okay.
I'm going to say anytime that it's obviously labored speech and you know the other person, if I didn't know you,
Right.
I was a shopkeeper and you came into my shop and we were carrying on a conversation and you talked just like you did right now, I as a shopkeeper would think this guy's got a problem.
Right.
So I guess I'm loosening the definition to say if it's obvious to the other person, who, especially to strangers, people who don't know that you ever stuttered, if it's obvious to strangers, then it's a sign that we need to. I'm going to call that a bad incident, and so I'm going to say. I will say your problem seems, there are two kinds of stuttering, first words and middle words. And you're having mostly a first word problem, but since you're pausing a lot, which is good, the pausing is good. But since you're pausing a lot, you're having a lot of first word issues.
Right.
We have crutches 1 through 8, which address individual words or first words problems. And they're in those 8 crutches, there are probably 10 or 12 ways to say first words that you can do it without having a stuttering problem. It's difficult to use a crutch on every single word, and you don't need to, but you do on first words. Now, we can't really go over. I'll give you some examples. Dropping the first letter of the word is crutch number 1. Crutch number 2, use a synonym, similar word or phrase. Crutch number 3, skip a word or spell it. Like your name, someone asks your name, and instead of saying, instead of doing that, you do what I'm doing right now. Noah, Noah, and I use my hand too. Noah, Noah, do that.
That's what I have to do with my last name sometimes because it's.
Well, wait, let's not use your last name because we're in a recording. And if we're going to use your last name, let's change your name to something else, like Chester or something, you know?
Noah, like that.
Yeah, but you got to say it too. Noah. Look, make it, look, the Noah could be spelled a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be spelled the way you spell it. So spelling names is a help to people. They like it. Noah. Do it that way and take that speed. Noah, Noah.
Noah, Noah.
Okay.
Up in the middle there. But.
You want to connect. You still want to run your sound through your words. Noah, Noah. Try it again.
Noah, Noah.
Okay. We got to work on your linking, but that's one way to say it. Here's another way to do it. When you come out of your voice register, you'll be fluent. For example, if I can't say, let's see, New York in my regular voice range, I can say New York. Do it the way I do it. New York, do that.
New York.
New York.
New York.
The minute you come out of your voice register up high or down low, you won't stutter. Now, you can't do it on every single word, but you can do it. You can start a lot of things that way. So we say Noah. Say that.
Noah, like that.
Noah.
Noah.
Megan.
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 Kia.
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 Finley.
Finley.
Don't think about what I'm asking you to do.
Right.
Noah, it requires no thought
Mhm.
to repeat what I'm doing. Your brain can pick words faster than you can say them. Your brain is so much smarter than you think it is. You don't ever have to think. Look, word planning is what gets us in trouble. One of your objectives in this program is to stop word planning. You're finished with word planning. You're not going to plan what you say. I'm talking to you right now without planning one word I'm saying. I have no idea what I'm going to say. And anytime you speak fluently, when you speak, you have a pet?
I do.
And when you talk to your pet, you don't stutter, do you?
No.
The way you talk, when you talk to your pet, or when you talk anywhere where you're not planning at all and you're totally fluent, think about it for a second. What did you do? Nothing. You simply let your brain do the work. Don't think about your words. Think about your thoughts.
Okay.
You got objectives. You have something to say. Let your brain decide which words to use. There are many ways to say the same thing. Okay, so changing the voice register is crutch 8. We call it modulation.
Okay.
And it works a lot.
Got it.
Watch this. When I'm worried and I can't sleep, say that.
When I'm worried and I can't sleep.
Okay, now once you start talking, you're going to link to a stop.
Okay.
Look, we have a basic speech plan called short, link, stop. Short means we only say 1 to 3 words or so at a time. Then we stop for 1 second. 1001 is 1 second. 1001. When I stop talking, all pressure leaves me. All pressure leaves the listener. Listeners have pressure too. When I stop, no pressure. Short means 1 to 3 words or so. Or so means 5, 6, 7 maybe, probably no more.
Right.
We don't count words. I'm counting them now to show you that when I speak in short increments, I don't sound like a robot. I sound normal, don't I?
Yes.
You can do the same thing. Short means 1 to 3 words or so, followed by a full stop. A full stop is 1001.
Right.
You need to do that to prevent talking in a continuum, which will lead to stuttering at this point. So that's what short means. And that's what stop means, 1 second. Sometimes we stop for 2 seconds, 1001, 1002, or even 3 seconds, and then continue. If we lose the speech floor, we don't care. We'll get it back.
Right.
So that's short and that's stop. Now, the most important word in this program is link. I call this a pressure speech plan, PSP, and it has 3 elements: short, link, and stop. Link is circle. It takes 4 things to stutter, Noah.
Mhm.
One is you must hesitate, you must think a word, you must fear it, and you must force it or try to. If you don't do every one of those 4 things, you can't stutter. Now, stutterers like you, and as I once was, can do all 4 things simultaneously in a millisecond.
Right.
Now, so
Sure.
how do you prevent doing those 4 things? The circled word, link. What does that mean? That means allow no space between your words and your syllables. You do it like you're singing. You don't say, how are you? Because you can get stuck on how are you. We don't do that. Once we start, we hold the tone constant to the end. How are you? Say that.
How are you?
Where are you going?
Where are you?
No, you broke. It's okay. You're new. Let's try it again. Where are you going?
Where are you going?
Okay, but you got to hold the tone. Look, when you hold a tone, your stomach is hard. If you put your hand on your abdomen and put your hand on your abdomen and press it on your abdomen. Now, when you hold your tone, your abdomen will tense. You don't tell it to tense. It just will tense, because that's what it does when you sing. That's how to hold the tone, you gotta tense your abdomen. Your brain knows that. You don't need to tell it. Your brain tenses your abdomen to push enough air to hold your tone. You're not pushing enough air to hold your tone. You still have a habit of breaking all the time. That's why you're stuttering. The minute you cut the breaking down, the stuttering is going to drop like a rock.
Okay.
Like a rock. But you gotta, thing is, you gotta be disciplined in this life to accomplish much of anything. And boy, do you have to be disciplined to beat stuttering until you beat it. Once you beat it, you can forget everything in my book or whatever. You won't need it. You won't need it any more than I do right now. When you change the habit, when you replace the habit of stuttering with fluency, you won't need any of this. It's good to know it, but you won't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you'll be working on being the best speaker you can be, we got a program for that too. But in any event, hold on. Sean, can you hear me? Sean, can you hear me? Sean, Sean, can you hear me? Sean, can you hear me? Sean, can you hear me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, listen, call me back in 10 minutes. I got a call that's dragging on. Call me in 10 minutes, okay?
Yes.
I'll be here. All right, sorry, thanks. Okay, so that guy stuttered on every word 2 or 3 months ago. I think he's almost beating it now. Anyway, so, all right. We've accomplished, I think the linking, we need to drill the linking more. So let's do that. Try and imitate me as closely as you can. When I'm worried, do that.
When I'm worried.
And I can't sleep.
And I can't sleep.
Sounding like a robot, and I'm not.
Okay.
Put some feeling in it. You're not a robot. When I'm worried.
Ooh.
Hold hold it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Rather than go whoa, 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 hold the tone. When, do that.
When,
Hold it. When,
when,
when.
when.
Now, the difference between you're being fluent on that note and not is you're focusing on holding the tone, making it a bit louder, and putting a little feeling in it. Your mind, a great metaphysician once said, evil cannot enter a mind already full.
Right.
When you keep your mind full, you can't stutter. End of story. Stuttering is nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing organic about it. It's not genetic. I was the only stutterer in my family. Everybody else was an orator. I had an aunt who was on the Broadway stage for years. You know, my grandfather was a judge. My father was an attorney. My mother was president of every group she was ever in. Everybody could talk except me. Was it genetic? Of course not. It's nonsense. Stuttering is nonsense. And you're not going to put up with it. That's what I say. It's over. It's over. You're going to give it 30, 60, 90 days and it's dead. Now, I got to go, but
Okay.
I think I'm going to send you an email. And are you in school, out of school, or you have a job or what right now?
So I have a job, but school starts, I think it's August 18th, I think, is when it starts. It's either the 15th or the 18th.
Let me look at tomorrow. Why don't you? I'll send you an email, but why don't you? Why don't you call me tomorrow? Can you call me tomorrow at 1 my time? That's 12 New York time.
I will let you know in an email because I have to look at my calendar.
Hold it up. Calendar. Hold it. Hit it.
Calendar.
There you go.
Okay. So I have to
Yeah,
look at
change. Look, Noah, you got to stop forcing words your way.
Right.
And start using our ways.
Okay.
Because you got to do two things to stop stuttering. Hear fluency from your lips, and you can't hear disfluency, which I'll define as any speech that's obviously stuttering to a stranger.
Okay.
So you hear fluency and they don't hear anything any other time. So that's why we need to get the basic methods down. We need to work on linking. That's what we'll work on tomorrow. Okay. I can't talk in the morning, but I'll be back here in the afternoon. But I have some activities in the afternoon. Anyway, look at your calendar. You can't look at it now.
It's in the kitchen and I'm in my room, so.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
It's in the kitchen. Say that.
It's in the kitchen.
Okay. You see when you push the air,
right?
You hold the tone. Look, this isn't that hard. Don't think, oh boy, this is so hard. It's not.
Yeah.
You can do this. We got a lot of people who've done it. 4 years old, 6 years old, 10, 12, 14, all the way up to age 88. We even have a coach now who's 18.
No way.
And she's pretty too. Yeah, her name is Asma.
It's an interesting name.
Yeah. Well, she's a Muslim. I mean, she doesn't wear a gown and all that stuff. She looks like, dresses like your friends do. She's in school in Canada right now. She's from Qatar on the Persian Gulf. She had 2 sisters that stuttered. 3 people in the same family stuttered. They're all fluent now.
That's amazing.
Our stuff works. It's not magic, and coaches don't do it. Students do it. You will conquer your stuttering, and you're going to enjoy doing it because it's an adversity. You don't need it. and you can beat it. And when you beat it, you're going to learn other things about yourself, and you're going to learn about mind training and how you can control the way you think about things. And that's really important to how much happiness you have. You know, how easy it is to be happy and how hard it is for some people.
Right.
You know? So you have a good day, and let me know about tomorrow.
Okay.
If one doesn't work, I can probably do 3 your time. Oh, well, let's see. What did I say? What? I'm dangerous. I put you down for 1 my time. It's noon your time,
Okay.
and you're in Florida, so it's
Yes.
1 hour later. So I can do noon your time, or I can do 3 your time.
Okay. 1 would probably be better. But I'll let you know in an email
Okay.
what time exactly. So.
Now, I want you to try and keep your hand on your tummy a bit, and
Okay.
try and push some air. We don't coach breathing, but the breathing will be natural. If you try and hold your tone, it's a little more forced on your first words, and hold your tone, you're gonna be fluent very fast on your first words.
Okay.
Goodbye.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Pleasure's mine. Take
I'll
care of yourself.
see you tomorrow.